gentlemen, today we're here with Laree Thomas, and she's right now in Ghana. So we'd like to talk to her about a few things, in relation to travel, and maybe you guys been having some questions about Ghana. Since she's there, we could present those questions to her. So thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Tell us just a little bit about, yourself, because people meet and they say, who is this lady? I never heard of her before. Inform the audience a little bit.
To me, I'm just Laree. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a nomad. I've been traveling around the world for about 2 years. I took I wouldn't say sabbatical. I left my career as a homelessness prevention liaison and decided that I wanted to see what the world was like. So I spent 4.5 months in Asia, 2.5 months in Europe, and I've been in Africa since September 2018. I don't even remember at this point. It's becoming a blush of time. But I've been here for a while. I've been living in Ghana for a year. Will be next month.
Okay, so what made you want to just start traveling? Because you have some, and I have friends that I know. I actually talked to a good childhood friend yesterday, and she was telling me that, well, I'm scared to travel. Why do you think some African Americans are afraid to travel?
Because it's not brought to our homes. I've been fortunate to have parents that although we didn't go anywhere, they didn't give me my first international trip. Like, we used to take the weekend to go to the village. That's when the village had a different array of people, like punk rockers, the LGBT community, all types of people all in one area. And we used to try different restaurants and try new foods. And I think that sparked my interest in different cultures. And then once I started traveling domestically within the United States, it just sparked my curiosity to see more and want to see outside of the United States. Because watching the Travel Channel, all those different shows, I was just like, I want to go there. Like, how do I get myself here? And I figured it out. And once the travel bug hit, you can't stop it. You keep going. You keep going and going and going.
And that part I do agree with you on about the travel bug. But then you have some people may say, well, as black people, we can't afford to travel. It's too expensive. And I've told them, and maybe you could tell them, that it's not expensive as what they think.
No, I traveled on sales. I always went on deals. I sacrificed. I may not have, I stopped buying $600 shoes.
Uh-oh.
The $600 flight instead. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Laree, say that one part again. What did you do? Would you stop buying?
$600 shoes.
Okay, but you use that money to buy a flight.
Like, a lot of people have the money, they just spend it differently. Because a lot of my friends that I used to say, well, how do you travel? I'm looking at their wardrobe like, you have the money. Like, why are you asking me how can you travel? Stop spending what you're spending or make more money. There was times where I got a second job. I worked overtime. I stopped buying coffee or whatever it is, that leisure money, because that's what I call it. That's the money that after my bills is paid, I get to do whatever I want. I get to do what I want. You wait for a sale. You start studying places and know they're off season when it's cheaper. Things like that.
So basically what you're saying is money management is a key to helping you travel.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to learn how to manage money if you want to be able to. Okay, so there's different ways to travel. You have your budget travelers, you have your mid-range travelers, and then you have your luxury travelers. So depending on what type of trip you want to provide for yourself determines your spending habits of what you need to save or spend for that trip. And if it's going to be a budget trip, then you don't really care. If it's luxury, then it's luxury. You're going to spend your whole whatever. But you have to decide, one, where you want to go, and what type of trip are you looking to create for yourself?
Right. And the type of person I am, Laree, is this. I like to enjoy myself. Okay. So if I'm going to travel, I'm going to go stay at the nice hotels and the nice everything, because I will try to watch my money and do what I got to do here in the States, right? But for those that say, okay, well, they may not be like me and want to go to the 4 or 5 star hotels. Where do you recommend those people to stay? Because they have people that get on the internet and they'll say, oh, stay at this place, and then they want to say everybody want to go certain places are either elitist or scammers or whatever else they try to say, because a lot of people don't have information, and maybe you could share with the audience on that.
They might want to go to a place where the cost of living is lower, so like the dollar reigns king in that particular area. So like if you are on a budget, then you're not compromising your standard. Like for me, it was easy to do backpacker style in Asia. I wouldn't do backpacker style in Africa because I just can't, like, the standards are different. In Asia, you can get a lot more cleaner, safer accommodation for very, very cheap. Like, you can spend less than $30 a day and have 3 meals and your lodging included. Like, you just look at the place that you want to go, how much it costs for the day, and determine how much you want to spend. Is that affordable for you?
Okay, so
I'm a mid-ranger, but like if I'm like doing a trip that I like, say my birthday trip, it's going to be a luxury trip because that's me treating myself. It depends on what it is. I fluctuate within where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm looking to create. If I'm looking to be eco-friendly lodge, it may not have AC because that's what you want to compromise for that particular venue. Like, it depends on the trip. There's so many different factors. Like, but in Tulum, it was beautiful. My room didn't have AC, but it's right on the ocean. You get the ocean breeze. But for somebody, that may have been hell. There's no TV, no radio. It's just you with nature. Be one. Learn something about yourself. But some folks may not like that. So you have to know who you are as an individual to understand where you want to be and where you want to travel, how you want to lodge, what you want to eat. Traveling is a learning experience. You're constantly learning about yourself.
That is 100% true on that. Definitely learning about yourself. Now, me personally, if a place don't have AC and TV, all that, I'm not doing it. So you would never see Phil on those kind of trips.
It was so cute.
No, it ain't happening.
It wasn't hot or anything because you're right on the ocean, so you're getting that ocean breeze all the time.
Yeah, because some people say that they can't sleep in a cold environment. They like it to be real hot. Like I say, I cannot stand a hot area, especially when I'm trying to sleep. Oh no, I can't do it. But so let me ask you a question. You got to the continent of Africa, and what was the first country you visited when you went?
Well, my first African country was South Africa. That was my birthday present to myself with me and a group of girls for our 30th. Because we were all turning 30, so we all took a trip to South Africa. And I kept going back. Like every year I would return, and I said to myself, okay, I gotta see another African country. I gotta stop going to South Africa. Like there's other things to see here. So once I knocked out my year abroad, I put a few countries on there. And so far I've been to Morocco, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Senegal, Togo, Ghana, and Egypt.
Okay. So far, what was your favorite on the continent?
Everyone is a favorite for what it is that they bring. Like I love the seafood in Senegal. I love the art in Morocco and their furnishing. South Africa, I love the culture. It's just a vibe that is unique that you can't find anywhere else. So far, I haven't found anywhere else. And on the continent. Kenya, I love the vibe, the people. I see myself totally living there. I stayed there for like 2 months. It's just different. Like they're all different. They're same, but different. So I don't have a favorite yet. but they all have these little pieces of them that I love.
All right. So when you was in Kenya, were you in Nairobi, or what city were you in?
Yeah, I was in Nairobi, and I went to Mombasa for like a week. So I was mainly in Nairobi.
Okay. Yeah, we just came back in October. We had a group trip actually where 30 people went from our channel, and for a week. There's a lot of them first time on the continent, and we also got another one coming up in September actually to South Africa, Joburg and Cape Town. So a lot of people is telling me about Joburg and saying, man, you're really gonna like Joburg. It'd be my first time going as well, South Africa. I've never been.
No, I love Joburg. I love the people. I love the culture. It's just a vibe. It's nowhere I've been so far within the continent that you have this many tribes from all over Africa in one mesh. I find it to be like the New York of Africa, because like New York is so many different people from all over the world, right? And it creates this different type of cultural finesse that you just can't find anywhere. I feel that way about Joburg. Like you have so many different tribes there that is just creating a cultural, artsy, funky thing that I just love. It's kind of dangerous, but I love it.
Yeah, I heard some things about, you got to kind of watch yourself a little bit, but that's anywhere you go, you need to watch yourself. I mean, it don't matter if you're in Houston, Las Vegas, New York, Chicago, wherever you need to watch yourself. But now you're in Ghana, you're in Accra, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of people going to Ghana. Like I said, me personally, I have not been yet, but there's a lot of people.
Any moment now. It should be arriving any moment now. It's like a big flux of people coming in this weekend.
Oh, for the Afrochella, right?
Yeah, Afrochella, just Christmas in Ghana.
Okay, so you see all the people coming in to Ghana. I mean, like, how has that been? Since you've been seeing all that, you've been seeing run into a lot more African Americans than ever?
Not yet. They should be arriving now. Like the influx of people, most of them arrived this weekend.
Okay, so how long you been in Ghana itself?
Like about a year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay, so what's your opinion on Ghana? Because I know a lot of people, every time I talk to an African American, they say, I want to go to Ghana. I want to go to Accra. I'm like, because I guess it's been so popularized. So you've been there. You can tell people the ins and outs of it. I mean, what is your opinion on Accra, Ghana? Because a lot of people don't know, and someone would like to go.
I mean, it's a nice, my first African country. I think that folks should like separate the hype, and when you do come here, just come with an open mind and do understand that visiting a place is different from actually living there. There's a lot of folks that's going into like, oh, I'm gonna just up and move. Hold on now. You will want to visit, test it out to see if it's something that's for you, because a lot of folks wind up moving here and going back home because they run out of money or it just doesn't work out. It's a lot harder than they understood it to be.
Right, and you're right about that. Basically, and some people will say, well, you like talking about Africa, but why don't you just hurry up and do it? Why don't y'all move or this and that? I say, well, like you said, it's a process to that. You can't just uproot your life and move somewhere, because I'm not silly. I'm going to have to replicate the life I have here, there. So I got to find a place where I can replicate that at. And basically what you're saying is Ghana is not there yet, right?
I don't see how you can replicate this. You won't be able to. If you're looking to replicate America and put it here, then you should stay in America. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that right there, because this is Africa, so it's going to be Africa.
Well, let me rephrase that. Business-wise,
okay.
Infrastructure-wise, not the culture of America, please. That's a lot needs to stay here. I don't even let me go down the list of things need to stay here in America. But for instance, you were talking about like a Joburg, for instance, or in Nairobi. Like I went to Nairobi. I can easily stay in Nairobi because I can easily do what I do here.
Right to the culture really easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can create a new studio there. I can, my wife loved it. I mean, Nairobi, I said, oh yeah, I can easily stay here. They had the infrastructure that you talked about, as we was talking a little bit before, but for people who just say they want to go to Ghana itself, and you know, you see a lot of stories where people uproot their life and move to Ghana. What is it that they will deal with that they're not telling you on the news stories?
Well, you're going to have to deal with learning how to navigate in a culture that is you're not familiar with, especially when doing business. Like, for most of my journey, I was like separating myself, like, I'm not American, I'm not like, I would lie or something like that. When people always, oh, you're American? No, I didn't want to deal with the talks of politics and all that type of stuff. But once I got here, it was very clear that, oh, I'm American. Like, I'm American. And with that, like, I had to undo thinking like certain things like time. I had a hard time first trying to do business here because everything requires you to be on time, American style. But here, if you set up a meeting at 12 noon, then to make your life easier and keep your sanity, you should black out 12 noon till maybe about 3. And maybe not get upset because that meeting doesn't start until 2. It's totally okay here. It's totally functional here. And it's one of the pointers I was given, but I didn't understand until I actually had to navigate in it. It's just like, girl, time, don't stress yourself. Like, okay, like, stress yourself if you get too anal about time. This is not how we do it here. And it really helped me out because I was used to having to complete 20 things a day. As a New Yorker, let's go. Get it done.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work here. If I get 3 things done today, it was a successful day. That's not my life back home. I was used to getting a whole bunch of stuff done. But now I have to scale it down to keep my sanity, to understand that some things is out of your control. Some things is just like culturally different here. You have to scale it down or stress it up.
Well, I know when I first went to, and I can relate to what you're saying. When I first went to Ethiopia, they the same way. The first 3 days I was there, I was freaking out. And I was freaking out because I was like you. I'm so used to that fast-paced Houston moving. And they just relax and they just take their time. And like you said, you set up a certain time. They really believe in colored people time on the continent. That's where it comes from, literally. So
I'm learning that, okay, this may be like in our DNA. This is what we do.
Yeah.
When we say it's going to be a morning meeting, that means block up your whole morning. Like, we're not going to be exact on time.
Right. I mean,
what time in the morning it's going to be.
And I remember growing up when you knew people was really like that, you say, okay, I want this to start at 4 o'clock, so I'm going to tell them it's 2 o'clock. That way I know they'll show up at 4. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I had to learn that myself. Like I was having a not an anxiety, but I was just freaking out about that. And then like you said about being American, I never really felt really American until I went to the continent, because in this country, they make you feel like a 5th class citizen. Even a dog is higher than black people in America. But when you get outside this country, oh, you learn real quick, you're an American.
Mm-hmm. You learn you're American. I got real clear that I'm American. And I'm okay with that. I've accepted that part of who I am. And I just learned to adapt within wherever I am. Like, say, going to Togo, it's a French-speaking country, and it's just like straight French. If you get somebody who can speak English a little bit, you're lucky. But you got to adapt. You still got to get around. You still got to order your food. You got to figure yourself out. It's just the nature of travel. Or you can leave. It's really that simple.
Right. So, I always tell people when I do recommendations on traveling, I say, listen, I would suggest you to go to the English-speaking African nations first. Just so you can move around and at least you can communicate without, some translator or something to that effect. So you're saying Ghana, okay, so it's basically relevant to what's going on in the continent. You don't have the fast pace of it. And some people in the United States don't move like that too. Let's say if you stay in a country town or rural area, it's not as fast paced. Say like you say you coming from New York, so yeah, it's extremely fast paced. That's a little bit faster than Houston. So what about, they say, because people always ask questions. I have a firm belief of you don't go to the continent looking for a job, you create one. But some people ask about jobs there. Is that something people can do?
Yes, there's a lot of American companies out here. A lot more are coming. I don't know if working here is something that they want to do, like working with a smaller company, because then you're going to get paid in Ghana cedis. And it could be very low compared to what you're used to. It could be like being on welfare if you work with a local company that's not going to pay like American style wages. So British companies, American companies, make your own company business, because there's plenty of space. That's the beauty about coming to the continent. There's so much room for things that is needed here, so you can practically create something or build something from scratch and be very successful, because you're probably the first or one of two.
Right. So now also when it comes to, let's say I remember at least when I went to Mekelle, this didn't happen in Addis Ababa. They had the rolling blackouts at times with lights. You know what I'm talking about, rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
Do they deal with that in Accra?
Yes.
How long the lights stay out? How long does the light stay out?
It depends on which neighborhood you're in. I'm fortunate enough to be in a neighborhood where I don't experience it as much. I mean, knock on wood. And then some folks in certain neighborhoods, they get it like every other day. In my neighborhood, I get it like, they pick a week per month where they're turning our lights off. It may go off for an hour. It may go off for the whole day and come off at night. Come on at night. Like, it fluctuates. Really, like, you never know when it's going to go off. They used to have like a little like schedule, but lately it's been off.
And see, the reason why I'm asking her these questions, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to give you the reality of things. We don't want just to romanticize something like she was saying earlier, and then you show up and like, yeah, you look like, exactly, like, oh my God, the lights went out. Like, in America, unless you don't pay your bills or they got a hurricane or something, your light's not going to go out. So that's why I'll try to tell people to do your research beforehand. Because like when I was in Nairobi, that didn't happen not one time.
It happened a few times I was in Nairobi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I was so used to it, like, I don't know. Just like, I was just like, whatever. It wasn't that hot, so it didn't really matter. But Ghana is, to me, is a lot hotter than Nairobi. So when the lights go out, it's just like, oh God, like, I gotta go somewhere, get somewhere with AC.
Now, did they have rolling blackouts in Joburg?
It wasn't, no, well, when I was in it, then, now they're having a serious blackout issue and a water issue. But when I was going, that wasn't a problem.
All right. So outside of those issues, we're talking about, because like I said, we just want to be real with people. We do not want people to go and then they experience these issues and they get upset and feel like people not we're not giving them the proper information and say you're there. But outside of all of that, what have you taken away? What made you stay a whole year in Ghana outside of all those inconveniences?
I traced my roots back here, so I felt like I needed to stay. I don't know why I stayed. It was just something that internally I felt like, all right, if I'm going to stay in an African country, because I wanted to stay in one. I was going to stay in Kenya a lot longer. But I was like, you know what, I really need to go to Ghana, because that's where I traced my DNA. So I could come back to Kenya, but I should at least stay in Ghana for some time. And once I got here, I was like, okay, I want my family to come and visit. This is a part of their roots too. So then I got an apartment and I gave them a year to like, all right, you don't have to worry about lodging. You got a nice, good year to come and experience your culture. Come and see what it is, see if you like it. I just wanted to break their Africa bubble, honestly. They don't have to stay in Ghana. They can go somewhere else, but I just want them to have the mindset to think of Africa too.
Right. And that's kind of how I am with my family a little bit. Like I said, I'm trying to see if I can get my dad to come. Hopefully he will come to South Africa next year. I'm just trying to get all my family I could just to, like you said, just get the Africa bubble broken for them so they can see it and everything. So you trace your roots back to Ghana. Do you see yourself becoming a citizen eventually?
Listen, we'll see. I'm not married to Ghana. Listen, whatever country I decided or decide that it's my home, hopefully they will offer citizenship.
Yeah, that's something, and that's something that we do need to. I know this is all new for the continent with people from the diaspora now trying to come there. So it was never a discussion about citizenship. Maybe until as of recent, I've been hearing a lot of discussion about citizenship because a lot of Black Americans are saying, "Look, I will want to do tourism. That's fine, but if I really like it, what's be the path to citizenship?" Because some of the rules that's there was kind of set up by people prior to them getting their freedom. So, now I know Ghana has a process for people to become citizens. I mean, you may know that better than me. I think you got to be there 7 years or something like that.
It's 7 to 10 years. They got if you marry somebody, it's way too lengthy and way too many steps. I think most of the African nations need to have a conversation and revamp the discussion about citizenship. If you're asking people to come home, what am I coming home to? What are you giving me? What can I give you? I know what I'm coming with, but like, come home to what? Like, if I come and invest in your economy, in your land, in your people, in the culture, I'm coming home to what? Like, I need the discussion to continually grow so that it's a win-win for everyone. Exchange it within African nations, exchange it with Black folks across the world. Like, no one is going to build us up like we will. And that's the main thing. So that's the main thing that I feel like people should understand. They're always looking for outside help and outside this and outside that. We got to take care of each other.
I agree with that. I think what they should do, just my opinion, I believe that they should be able to give you at least permanent residency for at least a period of 5 years and require you to stay in the country at least 3 months a year, because you may have to go back and forth before you can apply for citizenship. I think that would be like a fair exchange.
I agree. I don't think it should be 7 years. I don't think it should be 10. I think it definitely should be 5 or more. Yeah,
because you got to vet people. Because you got to vet people, make sure, But I know that I did the research on Ghana when it comes to, they have a thing called investment citizenship. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
And Ghana is actually real high compared to Kenya. They want you to, if you can invest $500,000 US, you can become a citizen, but in Kenya it's 100,000.
Listen, them numbers are crazy.
Well, the 100,000 is actually doable because let's say if you go like for us, if we was going to set up a studio in Nairobi.
It won't be 100,000. It's Ghana. Like, it's easily going to go skyrocketing up for the course that you didn't think were the cure for what you're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that they tell you need, you got to add double.
Right. Yeah, because it's more expensive.
It's more expensive. Yes, you have to get things exported. Well, you don't really have to get things imported. It's a matter of, because they have good quality stuff here. But they haven't figured out that, hey, this is really good. I don't need to import somebody else's tomatoes. I don't need to import somebody else's mangoes. It's just a free-for-all of stuff that's not been regulated that if it was, I think things would change in terms of the economy.
Now that we agree with. I mean, everything made in-house is always going to be much cheaper than. You stay in there for a year, but you say, listen, you still open up to, wherever maybe God will take you one day, you're open. Do you see yourself just doing a back and forth or just saying I'm staying on the continent permanently? Because, some people say that they need to go back and forth, whatever the reason. So you see yourself like going back to New York and then going to African nation?
I'm good.
You good?
I'll see my family and friends, but like I'm trying to see more of the continent, especially now that they opened up the borders. Praying that the air flight will become much cheaper to fly around the continent versus flying out of it. So that should increase travel for everyone within the continent. I don't like. What am I coming back to? I see my family, I see my friends, and then what? No, there's more of the world to see.
Right. So well, let me ask you a question about that, because you have people that will say, and they have different groups now. It will say, well, we're Black American. We were born here. Our ancestors were buried here, and why should we be over there on the continent? And why is she saying that she don't want to even come back here? Like with her, this is her ancestral homeland. What would you say to those people?
It's not an ancestral homeland, first of all. Second of all, I feel like this may not be for everybody. There's certain people that's feeling appalling. Answer. Some folks gonna come here and be like, yeah, this is not for me, and leave. That's totally fine. I just feel like whatever's in your heart, vibe with it. I also feel like I don't need to wake up and have to try to convince someone to see me as a human being. I'm good with that. Like, why am I fighting to be seen as a human being? I'm tired. I don't really care to anymore. I'll go places where they see me as a human and be just fine. Like, go where you're loved, go where you're wanted, go where you're respected, and build there. You don't have to keep taking the abuse. And yes, I do understand that, yes, we built that country, and I get it. So those who want to fight, let them fight. And let others who want to migrate, migrate. Everyone don't have to do the same thing.
Now, see, Laree, when I say the exact same thing that you just said, I agree with you 100%. I am with you 120%. They will push back and say, well, and maybe you can respond to them. Well, y'all is doing that. Y'all just running. Y'all don't want to deal with America. Y'all just running. What would you tell them?
You can call it what you want. I call it freedom. Once I actually left, I realized, like, I'm not free. Like, mentally, I was enslaved. I was just like, I feel like I'm great and I'm ruined in a great way, because now you can't really pay me to go for a 9 to 5. It could be a whole lot of money. And I've had interviews where I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I like the freedom of choosing to wake up and go to work. I like the freedom of working part-time. I can still pay my bills. I like my freedom. I like the freedom of, like, not be considered Black. Like, everyone's Black here. I don't have to think about racism at this point. Like, I like my mental freedom. So if you call that running, then okay, whatever. I'm free. I'm good.
And that is the thing about the continent. You don't see yourself as Black at all. You don't see it. It's just like you say, you just feel like a human being. You feel like you just move around. Nobody looking at you funny. Like, we was at the beach in Mombasa, and you have a bunch of people, Black people hanging out, and like in America, they be looking at you funny. Trying to follow you or want to call 911 and say, I don't know what those Black people are doing. And there's no 911 calling on the continent.
You are your own police, at least in Ghana. That's another thing. You are your own police here. They have police, but I wouldn't call them for anything.
Okay, now I'm laughing. Why would...
Or, like, my boo or something, like, I wouldn't call the police to handle anything. No shade, like, for real. You are your own police. Make a note of that.
Okay, so that coming from somebody coming from America, say, why do you say you shouldn't call the police? You should just handle it on your own.
It's not really policing here. I mean, they will show up and they say they were going to do something, but nobody does nothing. If you're not a high-profile case, it's not getting handled. It's a waste of time. They're going to write their police report and go to sleep. Okay? You do your own security, secure whatever it is, whatever house you need to pick. If you're going to choose to live here, it needs to be secure. You need, whether that is getting a guard, getting electric fence, getting, I don't know, like barbed wires. You have to figure that out for yourself. Because if you get robbed, ain't nobody finding the folks that robbed you. I'm sorry. You are your own police. You're going to have to pay people to do the policing for you.
Oh, wow. So basically, to hire your own security and also Ghana's no guns, correct?
I mean, you can get a license gun. Allegedly, I heard.
Okay, so you get a license to obtain a firearm. Okay. Well, because, a lot of African nations, you can't even do that too much.
I mean, you are your own police. You do what you got to do.
All right. So you're your own police, but at least at the end of the day, you're not dealing with racism. You're not dealing with barbecue Becky calling 911 on you and all other things that's going on. So that's funny. That is quite funny. But like you said, but one thing that she said that, and I want to repeat what she said. It may not be for everybody. Some of you maybe just need to visit and come on back to America. And then some people can actually go there and actually stay. Or, I look at traveling 3 different ways. Either you can be a person that just go to the continent once a year, or you can be one that say, man, I can stay X amount of months and then come back to America. Or you can be the one that say just uproot and leave completely.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with either one.
At all. I don't want folks to get into this thinking oh, is this my home? It may not be, and that's totally fine. Figure out where home is for you. I love Vietnam. I know that's one of my homes. I want to go back there. I feel at home there. It has all the elements that makes me happy. Would I stay there all my life? No. You get to choose. You get to have choices. Choose what's right for you. Make you happy. Don't be worried about what everybody else is doing.
And what you just said right there is my big issue with African Americans, the choice factor. I want you to at least have the choice to do so, because most of us don't have the choice because we don't even have a passport. So how could you choose? I always tell people, if these people want to go crazy behind, they want to start acting a fool behind Donald Trump or whatever the case may be, because how these folks are, they're acting a fool right now. They all divided about Donald Trump. I don't care what Donald Trump do. It's a business. But you at least want to have the option to say, look, these people going crazy. I'm out of here for a few months. I'm out of here for a couple of years. At least have the option to do it. You can't even do it. You never been nowhere. You never seen nothing.
I'm thinking that's pretty much a myth that's keep going. I think within the last 3 years, we've seen the most amount of Black folks traveling that we've ever seen before, and it's growing. I mean, the advertisement from travel hotels and travel companies are now geared towards Black folks. So I think we could stop saying that Black folks don't travel. We are traveling. The dynamics have changed where we are leading in the travel game right now.
Oh, it's increasing. No, let me respond to that. It is increasing. I think African Americans had, $63 billion in travel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's increasing, but I'm looking at the number of American citizens with passports, and it's not even over 30%. You know what I'm saying? That's most of what I'm focused on. So a lot of us still don't travel.
Still?
Yeah, a lot of us don't. I know a lot of people haven't been sometimes to the next state over. That's not even talking about going to Africa.
Okay, all right.
But it's increasing. But my thing is, I want us all, I'll try to tell people on my page, at least get your passport and have the option so you can at least see it for yourself.
Right. See it for yourself is my main statement. A lot of people ask me about how is this place or how's that place. I'm very clear that we can be on the same trip at the same time having 2 different experiences. So my experience may not be your experience. You may hate it. I may love it. And that's perfectly okay too. So let your experience be your experience and go with the open mind to see wherever you want to go for yourself.
And that is the perfect advice to give them. Laree, now you have a podcast and a blog, correct?
I have a blog. I do not have a podcast. Kellen has been trying to get me to a podcast.
Oh, you should do a podcast. I mean, podcasting is the future, actually. So you should get into podcasting. Because there are many, just the questions I even asked you, you can do podcasts off of many of those and kind of expound more than what you maybe expounded here, to give people just that well-rounded knowledge. Or maybe somebody want to go to Asia and you've been there, you can tell them, hey, go here, go there, do this, do that. So yeah, many people are looking for that kind of information.
Okay, I'll consider it.
Yes, ma'am. So your blog, how do people get to your blog so they can go check it out on your website?
All right, so you can check out my blog at Laree, Laree Thomas, Thomas. LareeThomas.com. You will see a lot more from me in terms of travel around the continent and how to move here successfully.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go to LareeThomas.com. Contact her if you need some information, especially if you want to go to Ghana. I would say she's the point person to go talk to since she's been there a year. She's not going.
I don't know about point person, but I don't need it.
We'll put it like this. She's the person to go ask questions so you don't get a romanticized opinion, because I don't want people just to be romanticized about anything, because that's when people get pissed off and say, man, you told me to go over here and now, man, like, look, So you heard it here first. You know, she told you, but people want to ask you some questions, they can, right?
Indeed.
All right. That's all we need to know. So go ahead into LareeThomas.com, ask her some questions. I'm pretty sure she'll get back to you as she have the time. So it was great talking to you, Laree. It was awesome. Like I said, I hope everything works out in Ghana or whatever country you're going to next. You know, I don't, know, you have an idea where you're going to go next, or you just kind of saying wherever you just, where the wind take you?
I'm looking at Rwanda pretty hard.
Good country.
We'll see what Rwanda has to offer. I'm looking with very big eyes.
Yeah, because Paul Kagame is really doing a lot of things over there in Rwanda. I know I just saw they had announced a new basketball league. Actually, they were doing some partnership with the NBA. So, yeah, there's a lot of things to change. And they also have their own smartphone now, the Mara phone.
Manufacturing company, right?
Do what?
They're a cell phone manufacturing company. I think the first one on the continent.
Yeah, Mara phone. Yes.
Things.
Yeah, it's amazing things. Rwanda is a good place to go. So, Laree, definitely want to thank you for joining us on the show today and give us some, relevant information and that people needed about Ghana. And, you be blessed.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good night.
All right, you too.